Hello everybody, welcome back to SoulO. Thank you for coming back, very kind. Today I'll be talking about those little breakthrough moments that happen to us, in fact every day, but sometimes they go unnoticed. Something that breaks through the noise and the clutter and the psychobabble. Maybe words expressed innocently, maybe something from a child, maybe a rainbow, whatever. Something that makes us stop and possibly think, something totally original, something likely coming from a soul. This happens to me quite regularly, and I'm very lucky because I'm a doctor and a therapist, and I hear stories and people talking without ego and frankly to me every day, and I think other therapists will appreciate and what a privileged position we're in. But also we have the privilege of confidentiality. So what I'm going to be talking about today did happen to me, and obviously I'm not going to mention who it is or the name, and I'm going to base a poem around it because the words she said inspired me and made me think something in a totally different and original way. I was consulted by a young woman who'd had a very difficult childhood, a lot of abuse and a lot of waywardness in her young teenage years. She's in her mid-20s now. And she told me something that took me aback somewhat. She said in her childhood and up until her early teenage years, if she was to see an insect that was struggling, she would squash it because she wanted to save it from trauma. And she told me she doesn't do that anymore. And this is one of those moments that got me thinking. And it was clear to me that there may well have been a lot of anger in this child and teenage person, but certainly there was also a thought of compassion and possibly somehow drawing parallels with her own life and how she would at that stage like to be treated. She said things were different now. Anyway, I went away and this kept coming back to me for a few days, and so I thought I need to express this in a poem using some poetic license, because it is important the person isn't identified or even thinks they're identified, but the gift that they gave me is behind this poem. And the poem is called Mercy. The torn-winged butterfly, delicate and barely alive, the grounded honeybee, limping and struggling far from its hive, would suffer a similar fate, crushed within her clenched hand or trapped between foot and land. Nowhere to hide from her instant yet merciful act of insecticide. That was long ago for her, but not so for me. Today, a young featherless sparrow dropped from a tree to her feet, soon to be cradled safely in her lap, then gently wheeled away to her ground floor, easy access, one-bedroomed flat. A safe haven for a lonely heart, shattered years before her legs and back. A wayward skidding truck, no match for an uncle's vile and velvet touch. Now behind locked doors, from her morphined syringe, pure water would leak, drop by drop, into the tiny gasping beak. Then she watched and she waited and prayed, till the young bird breathed its last breath, saved to be sure from a fate worse than death. Thank you very much. If you have any of those moments, be it words from a child or from an adult or a kind act, please remember them if they've cut through all the noise and the fear of today, and somehow use this in your life as a template for something creative. It certainly doesn't have to be a poem or even a work of art. it can be something else. So please write down in the comments about this. I'm very, very grateful for you being here, and thank you for subscribing and hitting that bell, and I'll come back very soon. Bye bye.